Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittnee. So, as you know, Easter's coming up soon and I thought it would be fun to make some chocolate Easter eggs. In this video, I will show you the method to make the egg as well as give you 3 different techniques to decorate the egg. Plus, I'll show you how to simply make a half egg or how you can make 2 half eggs and put them together to make a full chocolate egg. And I will also show you a couple ideas on how to package or plate the egg for presentation. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell if you like sweet tutorials about chocolate, cake decorating, or plated desserts. Now, let's get going. Here are the supplies you're going to need. An egg mold. Feel free to use whatever size or kind you prefer. Some chocolate in whatever colors you'd like. A plastic or silicone bowl or cup for melting your chocolate in. Some parchment paper piping bags, plus some extra parchment paper. A platter or box and some Easter grass or paper shavings. A wooden mallet if you plan to smash your egg, a couple pieces of cotton and some masking tape, and of course, some sort of surprise to put inside. As always, I will link all the supplies that I'm using in the description box below. So the first thing you're going to do is prepare your mold. You want to make sure it's clean, so if you've used it before, you want to wash it with hot water and soap and then dry it. And then to make sure it's shiny, that's where the cotton comes in. And you just want to kind of just go around it to make sure there's no fingerprints or any other thing on it that will make a mark on your egg. So the first egg design is going to be a plain egg where we pipe decorations on after the fact, and I am going to make mine lavender. So I'm just using a little bit of white chocolate snaps and some purple candy melts. And I'm going to melt these in the microwave for 20 to 30 seconds at a time until it's nice and smooth. And now you're just going to take a bit of chocolate and pour it right into the mold. And just tip it around until it's covering the mold. If you need more chocolate, add that in. It's okay if you drip outside of the mold. You can scrape it off after. And I'm just keeping the chocolate moving because I can still feel that it's warm from the microwave. And I want it to cool down a little bit so that the layer of chocolate is thicker. You want to make sure it goes all the way to the edge. And I'm going to do 2 layers, so once I feel like I've got a decent first layer, I will pour out the extra back into the chocolate. I think this will be good for the first layer. I'm just going to take an offset spatula and scrape the edge. And see how the chocolate has continued to pool at the bottom? This part takes a little patience because you don't want the middle to be super thick. If you see that it just keeps pooling, just keep moving it, and then you can dump out the extra a second time. And then I'm going to quickly put it in the fridge to get this first coat set up before it starts falling to the bottom again, because it will continue to do that. All right, now once your first coat is all set up in the fridge, you're going to do a second coat the exact same way. This time I'm going to purposely go over the edge so that I make sure I get all the way to the edge. And same as before, I'm just going to keep it moving. You can see there's a little indent in the bottom. I was checking it in the fridge to see if it was set up, and some of it had pooled, and when I tilted it, it all like moved out, but it shouldn't affect the outside of how the egg looks. Once you think you've got a decent coat, just dump out the excess like before. And clean off the edges. If it's pooling again, just pour that out. And I'm going to stick it in the freezer this time so it sets up really quick. Now after about 5 to 10 minutes in the freezer, you should be able to pull out your mold and tip it upside down very carefully. Give it a little press and it should come out of the mold just like that. And now with this design, we are piping on decorations out of the mold. So I want this design to just be 2 colors, very simple. So I've just got a parchment paper piping bag full of melted white chocolate, and I'm going to pipe on some designs. You can keep it simple or you can try to get a little more complicated. An easy design is just to do stripes back and forth and let the chocolate fall where it may fall. You can try doing polka dots, hearts. If you're really confident with your piping, you can pipe somebody's name. This design's really fun and easy because it doesn't have to be perfect. It looks homemade and I think it looks really cute like that. To present this one, I'm going to put some silver Easter grass in a box like this. And then put some candy in the middle. And then carefully lift my egg over the top. If you hold it with your fingers in the middle, that usually works pretty well. There's your cute little egg. Now I'll just add a couple Cadbury eggs around the sides. And place the mallet in there along with the rest. Now for my second design, I'm going to use a couple different techniques for applying the chocolate to the mold before creating the shell. The first technique is to use masking tape to create designs. To make something like a zigzag or wave, all you need to do is use an X-Acto knife to cut the pattern into the center of the tape. Then when you apply the tape to the mold, just leave whatever size gap you'd like in between the 2 cut slices. Now I have some melted pastel chocolate and I'm going to apply it to the mold in a couple different ways. You can use a brush by simply dipping it into the melted chocolate and wiping it across the mold. You can also put on a glove and use your finger to fill in your patterns. And then as soon as you've got all your different patterns filled in, before your chocolate sets up, you want to carefully peel off the tape. Now you'll be able to better see what your whole pattern looks like with the tape removed. And then the next technique we'll use is to use a piping bag to fill in any gaps and add any other designs that you want to add. Now, once you're happy with how your egg looks, you're just going to leave it at room temperature for the chocolate to set up. Okay, now for this shell, we're going to use a different technique. I'm going to actually be piping the shell onto here, and I've melted my chocolate, but it's been sitting out for a little while because if it's too warm, this chocolate will melt this chocolate and might cause our pattern to smear. And the reason I'm using a bag is to help with that, and also to get an even coat without having to keep swirling it so much like we did on the last one, which will cause these to smear. The piping bag also helps me get all the chocolate into the little grooves that I've created with my pattern. So once the chocolate is no longer warm to the touch, I'm going to pour it in my piping bag and pipe my shell. Now I can tell my chocolate's still maybe a little too warm because I can see it running really quickly. As long as it's not smearing the pattern though, I'll be good to go, and it looks fine. So I'm just going to start along the top edges and let it kind of, gravity will help you and it'll drip into the center. And you just want to help it into the grooves that are harder. Check to make sure the chocolate's not smearing your pattern. And as long as it's not, then you're good to continue. And you can fill the shells without patterns like this if you find it easier to. Okay, once you've got your first coat, you can see I do have a little excess chocolate this time still. So I'm just going to pour it out and then as quickly as I can get it into the freezer or fridge to set up. All right, it's all set up and it looks good, but as you can see, well, hopefully you can see, the shell's pretty thin. You can see the designs through. So time to do the second coat real quick. And I'm just going to empty my bag in like this, just to get everything covered and swirled around just like before. Now I'm going to pour out the excess and pop it in the freezer as quick as I can. Clean off all the edges. And after 5 to 10 minutes in the freezer, it's ready to unmold. Just tip it upside down really carefully. And there's our finished Easter egg. Now with this one, I'll show you what you can do if you don't have any boxes and you don't want to buy any. just take a nice plate and you can add some Easter grass and do it just the same as the box. Set your candy and carefully move your egg over. Try not to get fingerprints onto your egg. Carefully set it over, just like that. And you can place your mallet to the side and some extra Easter eggs if you want. All right, so for the third and final design, I'm going to show you how to make a whole egg. So I'm going to keep the shells pretty simple. I want them to look like a little spotted blue egg, but I want them to be a little lighter at the top than the bottom. So I'm going to first wipe on some white, like we did with the last egg, to kind of just give some texture, and then I'm going to finish this egg off by splattering on some silver paint. And I want the top to be thicker so that less blue shows through. And then I kind of want it to just blend down to blue. Well, I've kind of made like a turquoise color with just a couple green candy melts as well. And I'm also going to do this with the turquoise just to keep the colors separated a little bit when I fill it, so that it doesn't blend them too much together. Once these are all set up, you can use either of the methods to fill the shell with the same color blue. I'm going to just use the bag. Once you successfully get your eggshells out, the next step is to glue them together. I have a sheet tray that I warmed in the oven on the lowest setting. Mine was 175. Just take both halves of the egg and set them on the pan until they get melty. You want to try to melt them down equal amounts so they fit together. Then I put one half on a little towel nest I made to hold it and just gently place the second one on top. So this egg I'm going to put standing up on a plate. So I'm going to grab the whole egg and set it at an angle on the warm pan until it gets melty. Then just place it in the center of the plate. And if you have any cracks along the seam, just fill them like this with a little bit of extra chocolate. Okay, now I'm just going to finish this egg off with a little silver splatter. So how you do it is hold your paintbrush and hit it towards the egg, like this. And now I'll just add some silver grass around the outside. And a bit of candy. All right, all of our eggs are finished, and it's now time to smash them open to reveal the Easter prizes. I hope that you found this video helpful and that you learned a couple new techniques that you can combine with your own creativity to make some really cute chocolate Easter eggs. If you liked the video, let me know by liking it down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, today's the day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in a week. Bye!